Hello everyone, and welcome to the extended example tutorial. In this tutorial, we will create a conversational bot that interacts with the Yelp API on the user's behalf. This tutorial walks you through a more advanced bot. The goal of this tutorial is to provide you with a better understanding of building more complex and robust bots. In addition, this tutorial will showcase how to configure and integrate an API node into your bot seamlessly. Let's begin. First, create a new app from scratch. Click on your project in the app list to enter the chat flow editor. Once the editor has loaded, add a router to the canvas. Then, drag in the chat in and chat out nodes. Next, go to NLU and create a new project. Once in the app, click on Set up intents and add the following intents: request suggestions, state choice, request more options, request ratings, request hours, request address, info request, agree, reject, opening, thanking, and closing. For examples of sample utterances, refer to the Chatflow Extended Tutorials documentation page. Next, click on Set up entities and add the following entities: business type, location, enum choice. For an example phrase list, refer to the Chatflow Extended Tutorial documentation page. Once you are finished adding your intents and entities, click Deploy and return to your NLU app list. Click on Deployment Information and copy the deployment URL. You can download this example Yelp NLU app and import to NLU using the Import JSON feature. Back in Chatflow, drag in an NLU node. Connect the chat in, NLU, router, and chat out nodes like so. Double-click the NLU node. Paste the deployment URL into the URL field and add open bracket, open bracket, open bracket, payload, close bracket, close bracket, close bracket to the end of the URL. Let's create our branches. Start by adding an inner node and a state node. Set up the inner node by removing the default entrance condition and checking the box that says Initial State. Edit the state node. Name it Initialize State. Add the following code into the body of the state node. The location variable keeps the location where Yelp will look for restaurants. The business type variable is the kind of restaurant the bot will look for. The rec pending variable is true if we have all the information we need for a Yelp query, but have not issued the query. The user choice variable keeps track of which restaurant the user has chosen. This initialization enter state node flow is a great place to create user-defined variables that will appear throughout the entire app. In the output text, write a welcome message. Welcome. I can find restaurants for you in Yelp. What can I help you with? Check the Request User Input after this node option. Connect the enter and state nodes. Next, add another enter node. Name it Intent Hello. And set the entrance condition to msg.nlu.intent equals opening. It's a good idea to have your bot return back to its initial state whenever the user says hello. So, connect this enter node to the initialize state node. Next, let's create the parts of the conversational flow that allow the agent to collect information from the user. Add another enter node. Name it Entity Business Type. Edit the entrance condition to be msg.nlu.entities.businessType is not null. Note that NLU entities is the dictionary, with the entity types present in the utterance set as the keys, and the corresponding parts of the utterances set as the values. If an entity is not present in the utterance, it will not appear in the NLU entities dictionary. Create a direct link from the state node initialize state. To create a direct link, connect the output of the state node to the input of the enter node. The connection will be marked by a dashed line. Add one more enter node. Name it Entity Location. Edit the entrance condition to be msg.nlu.entity.location is not null. Create a direct link from the state node initialize state. Next, add a state node to follow the recently created enter node. Call it Save Business Type and Address, and add the following code. Drag in a new enter node, name it Got Business Type and Address, and set the entrance condition to msg.kick.address is not null. msg.kick.businessType is not null. Additionally, check the box that says Enter only from direct link, and create a direct link from the last state node added. Add a state node, connect it to the enter node, and input the following code into the body of the function. This will set our user-defined variable kick.recPending to true. Add another enter node, name it Got Address but not Business, and set its condition to msg.kick.businessType is not null. msg.kick.address is null. Check enter only from direct link and create a direct link with the save business type and address state node. Add another state node and connect it to the previous enter node. Add the following output text. Okay, I got kick.address, but I don't know the restaurant type. Add another enter node. Name it got business but not address. Set its condition to msg.kick.address is not null. msg.kick.businessType is null. Check enter only from direct link and create a direct link with the save business type and address state node. Add a new state node and connect it to the previous enter node. Add the following output text. Okay, I got kick.businessType, but I didn't get the location. Now we have a network that allows the agent to welcome the user, prompt the user to request a restaurant suggestion, determine whether the agent picked up a location or restaurant type from the user's request, and give the user feedback. Now let's add additional nodes that will take care of the situations where we have either just business type or just location. Add an enter node, name it state node business type, and set the entrance condition to msg.kick.businessType is null. Add a new state node, name it ask for business type, and set the output text as what kind of restaurant are you looking for? Create a direct link from the state node ask for business type to the enter node entity business type. Add another enter node, name it state no address, and set the entrance condition to msg.kick.address is null. Add a new state node and connect it to the new enter node. Name it ask for location and set the output text as what is the desired location? Create a direct link from the state node ask location to the enter node entity location. Now the system is ready to accept the user request and clarify requests when needed. Once we have the location and restaurant type, the agent is ready to get a list of restaurant suggestions by issuing a query to Yelp through the Yelp API, which is already conveniently packaged in a chat flow node. Drag in the Yelp node and double-click it to edit. In the node, input your consumer key, consumer secret, token, and token secret. You must provide these values to configure your Yelp node. You can obtain these values by logging into the Yelp Developers API page. The Yelp node builds a query using the term in msg.yelp.term, a location in msg.yelp.location, and a limit in the number of candidates in the output in msg.yelp.limit. The result of the Yelp query will be placed in the msg.payload coming out of the Yelp node. You can always check the Info tab for information about an API node's input requirements and its outputs. Add a new enter node, name it state request ready, and set its entrance condition to msg.kick.recPending is true. Add a new state node, connect it to the enter node, name it Yelp request, and add the following code. Connect the state node to the Yelp node. Now the bot can issue queries to the Yelp API. Next, we need to process the output of the Yelp node, accessible as msg.payload. Our query will produce 10 results. Presenting all 10 results at once would be disastrous in both speech-to-speech and chat scenarios. So let's present 3 choices at a time. Add a state node, name it list choices, and add the following code to process the Yelp API results. First, we are saving the results in a variable called Yelp results. Then, we format the bot's utterances directly in MSG Kick responses. We do this by using a loop to add the names of the restaurants to the bot's utterance. The bot will end with the question, do any of these sound okay? From here, we need the bot to extract the user input, affirmative or negative, and respond accordingly. Add an enter node, name it intent yes, and set the entrance condition to msg.nluintent equals accept. Check enter only from direct link and create a direct link from the list choices state node. Add a new state node, name it request choice, add the following code, and set the output text field as great, which one? Check the request user input after this node option. Next, add a new enter node, call it intent no, with the entrance condition msg.nlu.intent equals reject. Check enter only from direct link and create a direct link with the list choices enter node. Add another enter node, name it intent list more, and add the following 2 entrance conditions. msg.nlu.intent equals request more options, and msg.kick.yelp results is not null. Check enter only from direct link and create a direct link with the list choices enter node. Add a new state node, name it list more choices, and add the following code. This code will remove restaurant options we have already used check if there are still options available, and if there still are, present them to the user. Connect the intent list more and the intent no enter nodes to the state node called list more choices. Create direct links from the list more choices to each of the following enter nodes: intent yes, intent no, and intent list more. We now have the capability of presenting a small number of choices and going down a list if necessary. We are ready to have the user choose a restaurant from the options presented to them. Add a new enter node, call it intent state choices, with the entrance condition msg.nluintent equals state choices. msg.cake.yelp results is not null. Connect this enter node to a new state node. Name the new state node, repeat choices, add the following code. In this code, we check the enum choice entity and set the choice variable appropriately. If a choice is made, we set the user variable kit.userChoice, which we can access at any time in other nodes. Great! Our bot can guide users to a choice. But what if the user has questions about their choice and other options? Well, we can create new flows that answer the user's questions. Add a new enter node, name it intent request ratings, and add 3 entrance conditions. msg.nluintent equals request rating, msg.kick.userChoice is not null, msg.entities.enumChoice is not null. Create a state node called sayRating and input the following code. To handle questions that refer to a specific restaurant, we need an enter node called intent rating request with choice, with the following entrance conditions: msg.nluintent equals request rating, msg.entities.enumChoice is not null. Connect this enter node with a new state node called sayRating by choice, with the following code. Here, we have a code that combines the code in sayRating and repeat choice to generate a function that selects the output on the user's input. You can add similar flows to handle questions about address and hours. Can we make our bot accept gratitude? We sure can. Add an enter node named intent thanking with the entrance condition msg.nlu.intent equals thanking, and add a state node named respond to thanks. Add the following code. This code stores a set of appropriate responses and randomly selects one to the output. Well, what if the bot doesn't understand our user? We can create a flow to handle that as well. Add an enter node named intent default with the entrance condition msg.nluintent is null. Add a state node named not understanding and add the following code. Finally, we can create a flow that will end our dialog with our user. Add an enter node named goodbye with the entrance condition msg.nlu.intent equals closing. Add a state node named goodbye and add the output text goodbye. Check the dialog ends here box. And with that, click deploy and your application is ready to go. Can you make it better? Of course you can. Go ahead and give it a go. Happy bot building!